compared to other eras, this to me is the weakest era in human history in terms of mentally, in terms of being able to deal with their emotions, being able to deal with life's tragedy. This is the most weak era of all time. And the reason why I say this is because nowadays people seem to have a harder time letting go. People seem to have a harder time forgetting about the past and moving forward, right? Nowadays, back then, for example, with your exes, usually when you would break up with someone, you would stop seeing them. You know, you will stop calling them. You will never see them again. Actually, they'll change their number, and it's like that. That's it, over. But nowadays, people have the capacity to stay friends with their exes. People are able to see you, and because they're able to see you, it causes them to not be able to let go. So, of all the times in human history, this is the best time to be toxic. This is the best time for the simple reason that people come back to each other more than before. Sorry, let me go. People come back to each other more than before. But why is that? Well, because some people just struggle letting go of the past. It's just that simple. The past is in front of us everywhere. And people's unhappiness causes them to cling on to the past. Another thing that people have less friends. And because they have less friends, let me put this right here. There you go. Because they have less friends, it causes them to cling on to the few things that made them feel accepted. Right? So temporarily they might leave, but their loneliness, like a crackhead, will cause them to come back to you. Right? And you see this everywhere, especially during the pandemic, where people were the loneliest. You would have noticed that a lot of people were going back to their exes. You know, shit, I was messaging people, they just didn't want me back. Right? So people also come back out of habit, right? If somebody came back once, there's a high likelihood that they'll come back again. And every time they come back, it increases the likelihood that they'll do that same pattern over and over again. And what's really happening here is that, first of all, they don't like you. They do like you, but they resent the fact that they depend on you. So a lot of them have unconscious fantasies of hurting you because of how pathetic you're making them look to themselves, right? And so that's why with those types of people, they'll try to hurt you eventually. Those people who come back, who leave and come back, they'll come back a lot of the times to try to hurt you because you've made them lose control over themselves, right? And when people can't get mad at themselves, or when people refuse to accept responsibility, they get mad at other people, right? That's just human nature. Put this right here so that you guys can see Mexico City, but the thing doesn't want to. There you go. Okay. That's why you gotta be careful with the chronically unhappy. Let's put it right here. Chronically unhappy people have secrets, and those secrets is how they cope with pain. You may date with someone and think that they're perfect, they're great, but you don't know how they cope with unhappiness. You don't know how they cope with anger, with you pulling away. Sometimes they cope by going back to their exes. You know, that's just how it is. Some people are just not over their exes, not because their exes are amazing people, but because of trauma. Plain and simple. And when I say trauma, I mean they're incapable of regulating their emotion. They're incapable of allowing the suffering, the pain to dissolve so that they can let go of you because they have low self-esteem. What does that mean? Well, low self-esteem is all about is you have a very low motor of happiness, meaning when you get unhappy, your body doesn't naturally pick you back up without needing outside sources, right? Yeah, that part in you was never developed. Why? Most likely your parents when you were sad and creepy, they never self-soothed you, right? They never made you feel good about yourself. And because of that, your body as a child never experienced going from unhappiness to happiness, going from crying to not crying, right? Your parents never taught you that because maybe they weren't good at it. So your body only knew high, intense level of emotions, but it was never truly down-regulated by your parents self-soothing you and being patient. So you don't have a memory of that part of yourself helping you. So then you call those neglectful parents. And so you were left crying and nobody self-soothed you, So that makes you emotionally cold. But also it makes you dependent on other people, You never truly experience the dependency of somebody that you trust as a child. So you tend to do that as an adult. Well, adults are not responsible for you. So you never truly get that. And so you keep repeating that cycle, right? And so when things go bad, you look inside, you feel pain, you never knew how to fix it. And so you go back to the people who gave you some form of acceptance, and that's just how it is. And the way to reverse that dynamic is to give yourself what you want, which is attention, right? Appreciation, to be understood. So what that really saying is that you want to understand yourself. And how do you understand yourself? Well, understand your true nature. And what is that true nature? That you don't need other things to make you happy. That at the core of it, you don't need someone or anything else to make you happy. How do you do that? Observe. Let's begin to observe your emotions. Let's begin to observe the sensation that you feel and relax in it. And just observe it. And you'll learn that if you just observe it and you connect with your body, the emotions dissolve. And that's actually a real thing. There's scientific facts behind that. And so the next time you feel bad, right, rather than cling on and go back to that ex of yours, you observe, you're like, oh, the sensation, the pain went down a little bit. Now you're learning more about yourself, right? Now you're realizing, oh, okay. If I just keep observing the emotions, I allow it to arise and pass away, those emotions will dissolve eventually. And that's what happens. And now you're getting to know yourself. Now, and you lose another relationship, somebody dumps you, now you're able to leave them because you don't need them to feel better. You were under the illusion that in order to feel better, you need their validation. That's not knowing yourself. If you knew yourself, you knew that you're already complete. All you got to do is just observe. Look at yourself. Look at the emotion. See what happens when you just observe it. It always dissolves like water evaporating in the sun, right? Anyways, man, let me know what you guys think about this. If you want to learn more about this, check out my course, Emotional Mastery. Emotional Mastery is pretty much a course that I created to help you guys manage with these intense, creepy emotions, right? Another course is natural, the feminine woman, if you're a woman. It's a course that I created. It's like a self-help course to manage your emotions, to deal with your emotions, to embrace your masculine, to embrace your feminine. I just have a bunch of other courses, man. Be safe.
Are you needy and creepy? Do you have a tough time coming across confident when you like the person? A lot of the times you just don't know what to do. You have habits and patterns that whenever somebody triggers you, you completely forget what to do the right thing. Well, guess what? I have a course for that. And it's called The Psychological Game of Attraction, Natural Chemistry, and The Feminine Woman, what I call the fundamentals. All of those courses are meant to eradicate and exercise the needy, creepy parts in you through action. Meaning, you do what the videos say, and without a shadow of a doubt, you actually get the results. You'll notice that men call you back more Men will want more relationships with you. They're gonna be the ones that are needy and creepy. They're gonna be the ones that want something. They're gonna be the ones that are the aggressors in trying to get a relationship out of you. But the problem is that a lot of people just watch one or two videos and completely forget that there's actually a system. Don't just watch one or two videos. Get the system either by purchasing all of them and get a discount, or purchase them individually. Because a lot of the times, just watching one video in isolation, you actually miss the big picture. You have to understand why it works. You have to understand what to do next. And a lot of times, my videos just can't address that. A lot of people, you see by the testimonies right here, a lot of people have done what those videos say, and they've gotten results. Like the other day, I was in Mexico, and they were like, "Hey, Alexis," and I'm like, "Hey, oh my God, you watch your videos are so great." And I'm like, and she was like, "Look at my kid." I'm like, "What you talk about your kid? That's not my kid." She's like, "No, because of him, because of your videos, he's here." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, that's a thing." But I get that a lot. And ironically, that woman watches all of my videos, right? So purchase those courses, man. And if you don't like it, you actually could get a 30-day money-back guarantee, right? Purchase them individually, or get a discount and purchase them all by clicking on the description down below. You have the option of purchasing the one with the bonuses that obviously it's more material, where it's like I give you guys meditations. There's also other courses on how to make friends, how to master anything. Or you could purchase it without the bundle, which is much more affordable, all right? And with that, you guys are able to support my channel, which will allow me to make more videos, okay? Anyways, see you guys inside, and thank you.